financial literacy, and the human condition. Welcome to Financial Fitness with the Money Doctor, Dr. Francis Rayam.
It's that nobody's telling you because nobody cares enough to actually give you the truth. You're missing the moment. Or every time somebody walks into the open house, your voice goes up an octave. Or when you're talking to them, you're rocking back and forth and you don't realize it. There are all these physical cues that people are just not getting. So it's a tough love
You're
workshop.
swiveling back and forth.
Yes. It's hard for people to plant themselves in their power.
Hi, it's Frances. I just wanted to take a minute to thank you for watching this video. If you're catching us on YouTube, please help us help others by clicking like, subscribe, and all notifications so you don't miss any videos. And check back for the next video. I think you're going to love it. Thanks again. For more information, you can visit us at hugyourmoney.com.
Welcome to Financial Fitness. I'm Jess Tyler, along with the Money Doctor, Dr. Francis Rayam. Hi.
Hi, Jess. How are you?
I'm doing good, and we have a guest today.
We do. If you want to take control of your financial future and find out why real estate might be just one of those most powerful, underutilized tools to do it, you want to stay with us. Joining me today is someone who lives and breathes that mission, Courtney Poulos. She's the broker, CEO of ACME Real Estate, founder of Real Estate AI Coach. Listen up, folks. It may not be quite what you think. And author of Break Up With Your Rental, a title I love. Welcome to the show, Courtney.
Thank you so much. Honored to be here.
Well, it's
Were
our
you a
pleasure.
fan of Wiley E. Coyote is what I want to know.
You know what? People ask me that all the time, but no, that's not where the name comes from, and it's not
Okay.
an acronym.
Where does the name come from?
We were an anti-brand. I was getting really frustrated. You know, our industry has been primarily male dominated and primarily corporate owned. And real estate is one of those, still to this day, it is one of those big kind of industries that has a lot of private equity, a lot of Vanguard. And, even though it seems like you're choosing from a bunch of different options, you're really not choosing. They're all owned by the same entities. So Acme is an anti-brand. It's a generic brand name so that we could put our clients first and really create a custom branded approach for each client as opposed to marketing just some corporate brand. It's a rebel brand. I'm a bit of a rebel.
It's me. It's me. It's me. I'm the problem. It's me.
So you've had, 2 decades in the industry of
Yes,
helping
ma'am.
people, especially women. And there's 3 of us on the screen today, so that's kind of interesting.
Yes.
I would say step into financial independence through property ownership, right? And you deal with mindset and education as well, right? So talk to us a little bit about that. What's your thinking behind buying real estate if you're a woman?
Well, there are 2 pieces to it. And I will say we are seeing leaps and bounds of female home ownership. So that's amazing. What the book goes into is really the idea that somebody's going to save us, right? Like we're taught as children that we wait, we have to be superwomen. We go to college and then we get out and then we find Mr. Right. And then we buy the house then when we find Mr. Right and start making babies. And that's what home ownership is. That's grandma's version of home ownership. And then you never sell. But the modern woman usually is getting married a little bit later, having babies a little bit later, having a career. And yet this piece has fallen out. Like we come out of college strapped with debt, not thinking, hey, maybe I could pay the same amount buying a condo as opposed to paying rent. And then at least I have an appreciating asset that when in 3 years I go to refinance or sell, gives me a chunk of money that I can pay off my student loan debt. For example, that's just one example. And I know there's good debt and bad debt, and it's weighed differently and all of that kind of thing. But a lot of people make choices based on their debt load, choices in life, choices about their partners, choices about what jobs they want to work, and they live in misery until they break free from it. I'm trying to shorten that misery period with the book by just saying there's many ways to get in here. And I don't know about you, but I was never raised in a home that we owned. I didn't learn about it until I was in my 20s. And I was kind of late in my 20s. I'm like, dang, nobody told me about this. When I got into real estate, I had a 500 credit score. I was loaded with student debt. I thought I was never going to get out of it. And real estate really created a path to financial stability that I couldn't even have imagined. And that's the thing. It's one of those few pathways to legacy wealth in America that's left. And it's
Yeah.
always under attack, I should say. So you
Yeah.
kind of have to get in when you can, where you can, which is one of the best pieces of advice I ever received.
I have to agree with you. I did grow up in a house that my parents owned, but they struggled to do it. And I bought my first house when I was 21. I had a good credit score, but single buying my first house, it was not a piece of cake to do. And that is where it started. I was able to turn it over in a year's time. So a lot of that is common between us. We should say, are you in Los Angeles today or Florida? Where are you?
Yeah, well, I go back and forth between Los Angeles and Florida. I have a brokerage in Los Angeles and a brokerage in Florida. Right now, I'm in Orlando, Florida. We're just launching the new ACME headquarters in Orlando, which is really cool. It has a big social media studio, and we're about to expand our team there. So I'm here providing support to our broker on the ground in Florida, and I head back to LA next week.
Great. And you have, how many agents do you have now?
We have 35 in LA and we have 10 in Florida. That team is about to expand, but a lot of that is really conscious. With real estate brokerage ownership, it's not the same as corporate brokerage ownership. Corporate brokerage ownership is about numbers, algorithms. You want a big number of like low to medium producers because you can take more profit off of those. The high producing agents really costs the company money, but it's good advertising, right? So your splits are different. They don't make the company a lot of money. It's the mid-level producers that make brokerages money. With real estate being always changing, but in this moment of consolidation, in order to keep a boutique brokerage afloat, you have to have a slightly different algorithm. So we are really making sure that our team is not rookies. A lot of people get into this business and think they want to do it. And once they realize, oh, it's not as easy as it looks on TV, they don't really want to work. And let's face it, it's not for everybody, and it is something that needs deductive reasoning skills, contract skills. You need administrative and emotional intelligence, and that's just not everybody's forte. Some people really need to be hand-fed, like this is what you need to do. Every day looks the same, and real estate is not that. So it's not for everyone, and we just, we've kind of pared down our team in order to just keep the people who are really committed to growth.
Really quickly, speaking of the TV shows, have you seen an uptick since all those selling shows have come out, owning Manhattan and selling Sunset and all that? Have people wanted to apply thinking it was just that?
100%. Now remember, in Los Angeles, there's always this feeling like something big could be around the corner. Like a TV show could just be waiting for you. And if you're like an actor who's out of work, you get your real estate license. Or maybe, I had a TV show on FYI Network too. Like sometimes you just kind of get handed shows. Anything can happen. But those shows are such bull. I can't, sorry, I hope I can say that out loud. It's so bad. I was on Million Dollar Listing and it was a real transaction. I have to say, James Harris and his team, they're like, class acts, like 100%. It was a real transaction. It was filmed after the transaction, so it wasn't real time.
Mm-hmm.
And my client didn't actually want to be on camera, so her sister pretended to be my client on the show. So, it's fake. But the reality is we don't negotiate that way. We can't just say the things that they say on TV. There's a liability. It's a litigious industry. And when the market is tight and people are feeling this anxiety in the housing market, those lawsuits, it's just dangerous for a rookie to get in. So, yes, there's an uptick in interest. I get probably 2 to 3 emails a day from new agents who are like, I heard about you guys and you have an incredible training program and I'd love to get in. I'm like, I'm sorry, we're just not accepting people who are 5 deals or less. And then even when we do interview people, we make them do a deductive reasoning exercise and we actually see what their contract skills are. So we have them write a contract in our office to make sure that they're aligned. We ask them questions about situational awareness. What would they do in this thing or that thing? Ethical understandings of the code of ethics, for example, ethical understanding. We try to really get to it in the interview process. So we're just not one of those brokerages that takes anybody who applies. And that's kind of the big box model. A little different than a boutique. We have to be careful.
We will certainly talk about your coaching that's coming up and things like that. You have a couple of interesting and new programs coming out, but they're based on the fact that, anybody can take their real estate exam, but almost none of that is really about the kind of training that we want these people to have, because a lot of brokers will hire anybody with a new license because they're making money on them. So I really admire that you're critiquing people and you're setting the bar higher for brokers, because it's one of the largest expenses, the biggest purchases you will ever make in your life. You are, when we talk about financial wellness, you make a comment about understanding your money and how it moves and not giving away your money power. Can you share with us what that might look like for someone who's just starting out?
Well, just starting out means a lot of different things, but the number one most important thing is that people who are wealthy do not run away from financial understanding. So, this idea that you want to pay a financial advisor to manage your money for you, or that you're just paying the cheapest accountant to do your taxes for you, expecting that there's going to be some investment by them in your structure, is the part that we're sold or that we lazily like accept, that it took me a long time to realize was part of the problem. I was so afraid of understanding money and how it worked that I probably, looking back, would have made a lot of different choices. So understanding the way money works is paramount to making smart choices. And you do need diversity in your portfolio, but what does that mean? Like, I love real estate. I used to hate 401ks. I'm like, I'm just not a stock market gal. Like, I know with real estate, it always goes up. 80 of the last 85 years, we've seen values go up, and we know which years we didn't, right? Like, they were really circumstances that will not be reproduced. So, and the people that gave up in during those early, during 2008 in LA anyway, came to regret it. There was a lot of media hype around that. It's a long-term play. It's not a short-term play. It's not like, oh, I can just buy and sell in any market. So as long as you have some short-term and some long-term plays in your portfolio, you can make smarter choices. Now, what I recently learned is about how the truly wealthy use IRAs and real estate together. So there's so much always to learn about the structure in America, but my number one piece of advice for people just starting their financial careers, like maybe just out of college, is to lean fully into financial education, learn definitions, learn about the different types of accounts that there are, find out about different types of loan programs, first time homebuyer programs, down payment programs, buy, talk to somebody like me, but buy something where your rent is offset. If you're just a single person, there is no reason why you need a single family house. Get a duplex, get a two on a lot, get a 4 unit with an FHA 3.5% down loan. Go in with your friends. Like, there's so many options, no excuses. Learn money and how to make it work for you at any price point.
All right, this seems like a great time to take a quick break, but first I want to get your number, Frances.
Sure, it's 413-773-3333.
All right, such a great conversation. You can also go to hugyourmoney.com. We'll be back with part 2 of Financial Fitness with the Money Doctor, Dr. Frances Ram on WHMP.
Financial Fitness with the Money Doctor is underwritten by Franklin County Technical School. We build futures. Visit fcts.us or call 413-863-9561.
Welcome back to Financial Fitness. I'm Jess Tyler, along with the Money Doctor, Dr. Frances Ram. Hi.
Hi, Jess. We're back with Courtney Poulos, and we're talking about real estate, how to get into it, how it can be your money power. Courtney is famous for helping women, especially. And where we left off was talking about, get in at not at any cost, but get in when you can, no excuses, do a creative deal. Jess and I have talked about this many times on the air, about maybe starting with a plan A, plan B, start with a duplex and then move on to your dream home or whatever. Don't overbuy, and get your mortgage and your other debts into our system so that you don't pay for the mortgage for 30 years, right? On the same money. So that's why I said we have to talk off camera a little bit because there's a lot of overlap here. But to that point, you have 2 new programs coming up. I don't want to, I want to make sure we leave time for AI because that's a hot topic. But will you
Sure.
tell us about your coaching programs?
Yeah, absolutely. So this year I'm launching Agent Beast Mode, which is a 5-day intensive, like 9 to 5, fully immersive, small class training program in certain major cities. It's going to be application only for agents who have done 5 or more deals and are feeling a little bit stuck, feeling like they're not getting what it is they need from their broker. They need a boost. This is the training for them. Here's the thing. I come from an acting background. I don't know if you know that. And one of the most powerful moments in my life was when I moved to Los Angeles, thinking that I was very talented and unique, like everyone. And I sat down in a acting class with a crazy man as an acting teacher, okay? And he assigned me a monologue, and I picked a monologue out of a monologue book, not knowing that that's a no-no. I didn't know that. It's like the stage elite, like you only can do like stage plays, not monologue books, but whatever. I go onto the stage. I do my monologue. I think I did okay. I sit down in the chair and he got this close from my face and he said, "If you don't have something to say," and I'll spare you the F word, but he said, "Get thee off the stage." And it hit me. It was so important. What he was saying to me is, I'm untrained. I don't belong here yet. And I immediately went and got trained at a Meisner school for 2 years. Okay. Here's how it applies to real estate. We are a people business. We have listening, we have responsiveness, there's emotional intelligence involved in it, but there's also reactivity. You have to engage with the other person, in an open house, in a Zoom meeting. You have to analyze what their fears are and address their concerns. There's an intelligence to sales that people who get in this industry never get critiqued on. So they're out there hosting open houses going, why is nobody choosing to respond to my email? How come nobody wants to be my client out of this? Why am I not getting leads from the neighbors to sell their house? I just met that lady yesterday and now the house next door is going up. Why didn't they call me? And it's not actually a mystery. It's that nobody's telling you because nobody cares enough to actually give you the truth. You're missing the moment. Or every time somebody walks into the open house, your voice goes up an octave. Or when you're talking to them, you're rocking back and forth and you don't realize it. There are all these physical cues that people are just not getting. So it's a tough love
You're
workshop.
swiveling back and forth.
Yes. It's hard for people to plant themselves in their power. This is
Yeah.
what I've learned.
Yeah.
Having trained agents now for 11 years, I've like boiled it down to the core basics: contract competency, open house effectiveness, but really it really all is about emotional intelligence and learning how you appear for other people and figuring out how to pull different cards out of your deck in the different important moments in sales. And it's just a boost that I haven't seen any other training program like it. And it really works. It really works. So that's Agent Beast Mode. And then we also have Broker Beast Mode, which is essentially a facelift for broker owners who do not want to affiliate. So we were talking earlier about how the market is consolidating right now. You're seeing Element might be up for sale, and big brokerages are just kind of like clicking together. And that's what happens when the market's down. You'll see a lot of mergers and acquisitions, and not every broker wants to do that, but they're like, where's my competitive edge? Where can I be competitive? And so there's a deep dive into the market of each broker for Broker Beast Mode, and then we do an analysis of logo, branding, training, structures, systems. How can we be more efficient and effective and competitive in attracting and recruiting great talent that stays with you, but also grows with you? And that's a big challenge in real estate. So these are my two new programs. I'm very excited about it. They're going to be, again, like kind of one-on-one to start with the Broker Beast Mode, and then Agent Beast Mode small group classes. So like no more than 10 agents in one class in major American cities. So we're building our list of students right now.
Yeah. I love that this is based on knowledge, right? Where you cannot have people who don't know what they're doing facilitating the sale of your largest purchase in life. Speaking of which, you are the author of Break Up with Your Rental. I love the title. Can you explain a little bit about the book?
Sure, absolutely. So break up with your rental. The subhead is Professional Woman's Guide to Building Wealth Through Real Estate, but it really applies to men and women. But a lot of us aren't trained on money when we're young. I wish that was part of our high school education. We
A lot,
should know this. Come on. Yeah, a lot, like the
like
majority,
most.
like
Yeah.
most.
Right.
And we rent and we're just paying somebody else's mortgage. But usually it's because we don't have family money. We're working paycheck to paycheck. We come out of college loaded with debt for a lot of people, or you don't even go to college and you're just working. Break up with your rental, or it goes through all these hurdles in real estate. When you see other people doing it and you go, but I'm never going to be able to do that, or I'm waiting for this moment to kind of gives readers many different pathways in. So we do discuss multifamily investing. Here's another one. My company, Acme Real Estate, has a niche in renovation resale, which is a term I coined because flipper sounds horrible and has this negative connotation of being
Right.
cheap. But at Acme, we have in-house design. We know how to do appraisals for the most expensive house on the block. We have 2 decades of experience selling houses that have been flipped. And so we really improve the value. But you know what is always needed? Design help. A lot of flippers need
Yep.
design help and they can't afford a professional designer. They don't want to pay for that. So if you're somebody who wants to project manage and get and do some design help for a flipper for free up front, but then you get paid a portion of the sale at close, for example, there's a
Mhm.
way to make a chunk of money that you can use then as a down payment, or really being creative with the first time home buyer programs or down payment programs. And
Yeah,
if you can't buy where you live, buy where you can. The
that's
East Coast
right.
cash flows, the West Coast appreciates. We all know this. So you can absolutely buy a single family house in Akron, Ohio for less than $100,000. Buy it, rent it out to some college students or whatever, and make $500 of profit on that house every month that can contribute toward your rent. You're already starting. And then once you get yourself a little bit more acclimated, you refinance, you take some cash out, you buy another one. You got to start somewhere. But
Yeah.
break up with your rental is meant to help people jump whatever objections they have created in their mind that aren't real. And all the while the objections are happening, the market's appreciating. So if you think
Yeah.
it's out of touch now, out of reach, then it's going to be way more out of reach in 10 years when you think you're finally ready. It's like having a baby. You're never really ready. You just got to
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah, I have to jump in, of course, just to caution people that I'm a big fan of real estate, right? That's how I started. That's how a lot of my people start. I do have a client who bought a house in Ohio for about $48,000, and is fixing it up as she lives there. She moved there. She's like, I can't afford to live in New England. I'm moving to Ohio. So it's possible. But I do want to say it can be very appealing to have somebody just say, just go buy something and get rent. It has its challenges. You want somebody professional behind you doing this, somebody with knowledge who can say, yeah, there's a rental out here. Here's a company that might help to manage it because you're going to be 800 miles away. Or, here's what to watch out for. Don't forget about your taxes and insurance. One of the things I love, I won't go on about it, but I've been pre-approved for this amount of money. Yeah, pre-approved is not approved, and they may not care about your taxes and insurance. They're looking at what your mortgage payment is going to be. And so there are a lot of things you really have to be careful of with that. But that being said, I love that you're empowering people to start doing something about this. And speaking of that kind of service, I have to segue into AI because you are working as an AI coach, and I have a feeling what your opinion is going to be similar to mine at the moment. But we have 2 minutes left. Can you tell
Okay,
us a
two
little bit
minutes. All
about
right.
AI?
So
Yeah.
I just recently started a channel. It's on YouTube. It's called Real Estate AI Coach. We are growing, but basically on Real Estate AI Coach, I am reviewing all of the apps that real estate agents are being sold as AI solutions.
I've got a list of about 1 billion different things to join on your behalf. I'm joining them. Yes, I'm using my credit card to join them, and then crying at night when I realize that I forgot to turn the subscription off.
And you know what I'm learning?
I still think it has work to do. Nothing's perfect yet, which is why I'm even doing this channel.
They are not ready for prime time. Okay. The CMA that they have, like a lot of apps are like, we'll help you price the house. It's based on data that's bad because it can't read the images, it can't compare apples to apples, it doesn't understand tax record versus marketing square footage, it doesn't know which renovations are permitted, which aren't, it can't distinguish between laminate and hardwood floors. It's not there yet. AI, the main thing is that it's only as good as what goes into it. And
That's
so,
right.
and yeah, and so if you're not putting good data in, you can't get good results out. AI is not going to replace real estate agents for the most important piece of our job. You can have it fill out a contract, perhaps, but you still got to check it. You can have it help you with marketing strategies, but just know every other agent who looks at it for marketing strategies, getting the same thing. And as a
That's right.
consumer, they can see when your postcard or your Instagram post has AI generated content.
Yeah,
Consumers aren't
I
fooled.
agree.
So you still need to be in control of your career, your voice. AI cannot replace us. I was thinking of calling it Courtney versus AI after I did the first like 4 reviews. I'm like, this is not what I thought it was going to be. But yeah, so really I'm coaching people to use AI as a tool, never to replace a skill
Yeah.
set.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Garbage in, garbage out. I won't go on about this either, but we have had to seal it off. We are working with AI, but we've been able to build something really amazing, but we had to seal it off. It has to be built on just our data, or you're going to get wrong answers, and we can't have that. It's supposed to be meant to enhance and provide better service, not to replace us. And I know there's a lot of fear out there that it will replace humans, but I think just like when everybody said, "Oh, the internet is going to replace humans, and we're never going to have jobs again," we're just going to reinvent ourselves. And AI is great for some things, right? Great to help you with some tasks, but it's a starting point. Washington Post just did an article where they tested a bunch of different AI things, and what they found is Claude was good for this, ChatGPT was good for that, but none of them really had it all together yet. And in the end, you're
Exactly.
absolutely right. We absolutely have to remember we are the humans. We are the ones with the real brain who put the data out there in the first place, and we have to discern what is good, bad, or otherwise. So I thank you very much for that and for staying with us through all of those topics. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. This is a fun conversation. We could probably go on and on.
We could.
That's
Courtney, can
right.
I get some info on you, some your email or phone number?
Sure. My email is Courtney at Acme, ACME, that's M as in Mary, dash RE.com. And my phone number is 323-919-0375. My website is CourtneyPoulos.com. The company website is acme-re.com.
All right. And Francis, for you, your phone number?
Thank you. It's 413-773-3333.
And you can go to hugyourmoney.com. We'll be back next week with another edition of Financial Fitness with the Money Doctor, Dr. Francis Ram, on WHMP.
Will you help us spread the word about financial fitness? Please like, subscribe, and choose all. Thank you. Financial Fitness with the Money Doctor is underwritten by